Hello, guys. Welcome back to Life Abroad Panama, the podcast when we focus on the journey of relocating and building your life in Panama. Facing immigration questions or business legalities? Our lawyers are here to help you. We make it easy to get the legal advice you need when you need it. Today, we are joined by James, a 33-year-old contractor and entrepreneur who has been running a business here in Panama for renovating, for custom furniture, and now has moved into other branches.
Yeah, some real estate development.
Yeah, we are going to investigate and we're going to look onto how he has built up a life in Panama and a business from scratch. So, James, tell me about you. We know you are a contractor, you are 33, but what is up? Who is James?
Why am I here? How did I end up here? Things like
the
that.
story, we want to hear it all from beginning to end.
Of course. No, so originally, my family, they're all English. We're from Liverpool, England. I was born in Liverpool, England, but I was raised in the U.S., as you can tell by my accent.
Yes.
I definitely have the American. I do not have the English accent. So I grew up in the States, just south of Orlando, Florida, for 18 years. We moved to Panama when I was around like 19 years old. So like I said, again, like 13, about to be 14 years. Said my dad had his own business in the States. And the reason why we ended up here in Panama kind of is related to that. Our family never got permanent residency. We never got a green card, even though my dad had his own business where he employed 30 Americans. So my dad kind of got fed up of having to go through the whole immigration process every 3 to 5 years. My dad was kind of also starting to see the area where we were living just didn't look like it was providing a brighter future for me. So my dad made a decision because he had already made it once before, because I had an older brother as well. So my older brother is probably around the same age as I was when they moved out of England as my age was when we moved out of Florida.
Yeah.
So my dad, that's the decision he made when he was in England, was to take my brother away from that lifestyle and that environment and bring him to America to try and find a better lifestyle and environment for him. And that was basically the same decision he made when he decided to come here to Panama. So the original, my parents came up with the idea. I was 18 years old. I had a girlfriend at the time.
Aww.
I told them, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying right here. I'm not moving to no
USA.
I'm not moving to no foreign country. I'm not learning Spanish. I'm not doing none of that. But my dad said, well, legally you're not allowed to stay here, so guess what? You're going. So they basically drugged me over here like kicking and screaming at first, and I was not happy about being over here at all. As soon as I got here, I immediately just started trying to think of a way to get back to America, to my friends, because I literally just graduated high school. So I was only 18 years old. I was still young. All my friends over there, my girlfriend was over there, and like I said, they brought me over here. I didn't speak the language. I did not want to be here, so the start to my journey here was definitely it was a little bit frustrating. It was rough, yeah. It was frustrating. Like I said, I was not happy to be here, so it was hard for me to find the positivity and put a smile on my face every day and try and put an effort to want to be here, or even just try to be here.
Yeah, the story of every immigrant.
Exactly, yeah. So I mean, when we moved here too, we moved to an area called Gamboa, which if anyone who knows Gamboa, it's not in the city, it's out the city.
Yeah.
It's kind of in the jungle.
A jungle.
A lot of nature, because that's what my family really loves. But it's kind of, it's out of the way, a little bit out of the way. So living out there in Gamboa, I guess, was one of the things that kind of made me start to like Panama, because it was such a different environment. Like where I was from back home, I didn't live in a big city or nothing like that, but lived in a town, you know what I mean? We were surrounded by, we had like woods and stuff like that, but there wasn't monkeys in the first morning when we moved here. I woke up in the morning and there was monkeys in my front yard.
That was what you needed for you to be convinced that this was a magical
exactly
place.
Yeah. So that kind of was amazing to me. I was like, I've never seen a monkey in real life besides in a zoo before that. So to kind of look around and see the environment I was in, that kind of made me start to feel like, oh, you know what, I'm here. So let me see if I can find a way to like this.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, one thing led to another where I got involved in Cayuco. Cayuco was a big thing back then, and then that's kind of where I started to make friends and started to create relationships with people and create a routine for myself. And kind of little by little, Panama, the culture and the lifestyle of Panama started to wear off on me, and it became something that today, and one of the questions that they asked me earlier.
13 years.
Yeah, I mean, if I've been here for 13 years, it probably shows you that I like it. Yeah. So.
I'm impressed because there's a lot going on. First, you're from England originally.
Yep.
You came here with your parents, mom and dad.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so you moved to the U.S. when you were how old?
I was only about 1 year old. So
you are from the U.S.
The only thing English about me, because I don't have the English accent, the only thing English about me is my passport. That's about it. I got an English
your
passport.
Last name.
Exactly, my last name.
Can you say your last name?
Hawksworth. It's very, very English. Very, very English.
Very English. Yeah. So when you were in the U.S., you learned about the culture and everything. You grew up there.
Yeah.
Basically. What you said that your dad felt uncomfortable with the immigration process.
Yeah.
That is ironic, actually, because that was basically your home.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to know someone who doesn't like the U.S., you know?
Yeah.
Someone that wants to go away from the U.S.
Yeah.
So did you ever knew about the decision that made your father or your family want to go from the U.S. to Panama? Because it's two different countries.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, my dad, he had made the decision about 2 years prior to us actually making the move that we were going to move, and it was between 3 different countries. We were going to do Costa Rica, Panama, or Mexico. And my dad was in the process of retiring at the time. So again, since we lived in Florida, he wanted some place that was going to be close to Florida to be able to still travel for work and things like that. He wanted obviously a stable economy, stable country with stable, what we call it, politics or government, good healthcare system, and obviously a stable economy. So they put their plan together. They went around and they visited all the countries, and I didn't even participate in that. Like I said, I didn't want nothing to do with the move or nothing like that. So
you were like, USA.
Exactly, yeah. So they did their trip here in Panama. They did the whole trip around. They were in the city, Coronado, Boquete, Venal. They went all over the place, kind of like trying to get a feel for the country. And then when they came back, they basically said, no, I think Panama is the place for us. We get the U.S. dollar out here, really good healthcare system out here. It's a safe country, stable country, good economy. So my dad felt like it was going to be a real smart move for the family to make that.
He didn't need to learn another currency and all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was kind of comfortable for him.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
And he made the decision. And what happened? How was the immigration process? How was everything? You just came here?
Yeah, I mean, so again, we made a decision to move out here. And basically, my dad found the house at that point. It was on Craigslist. He found it on Craigslist. And,
easy.
Yeah, exactly. He came over 2 weeks before me and my mom did. He came over, got the house settled, and then I came over. And I basically showed up here in this country with, 5 suitcases. And I had a massive Rottweiler. I had a 120-pound Rottweiler. And I arrived with 5 suitcases and a kennel, and it was just me. I was trying to find my way through Tocumen Airport. I didn't speak any Spanish. It was hot. It was humid. It was loud. Everything felt like unorganized and chaotic. I had no idea what was going on. So getting over here, obviously, just really getting accustomed to the Panamanian culture and the way of doing things and lifestyle. Like when you're back in the States, everything happens. If you want it right now, it happens right now. Whereas I think that was the hardest part for everybody inside my family was learning to have patience, learning to just say, here everything's, hey, tranquilo, mañana, just relax, tomorrow, we'll get it done tomorrow. But whereas back in the States, it was not like that. They wanted it now, and they wanted it now. There was no excuse. So I think that was the hardest part for us at first, was learning how to just be patient, just relax, just go with the flow. And so getting all the house settled and stuff like that took a long time. And then once, for the first couple years, we didn't want to commit ourselves to go ahead and get in residency and stuff like that, just in case we decided we didn't like it. So we'd have to, every 3 months or whatever it was, we'd have to travel out. We'd go back to Florida for a couple of days and come back.
So you had a tourist.
Yeah, we were using the tourist visa or whatever it was. I think you'd be here for 90 days at a time. So my dad traveled often for work anyway, so he never had that problem. But I would stay here for 3 months. And then when we first moved here, I was still doing work under the table back in the States to make money. Contracting work. I'm a carpenter by trade and a framer, so that's what my dad and my brother did. So I would travel back a lot and do work with my dad's friends who were renovating houses or stuff like that. I'd help with, just the renovation work and stuff like that. I'd go over there, make my money, come back here and just spend it all here. And that was, like I said, when I was kind of like just being independent, trying to figure out my way. So the first couple of years it was like that, and then it got to a point where my dad was like, "Hey, look, it's been 2 years. What do you think? You staying? You going? What do you think?" I was like, "You know what? I like it here. I like it here. I think I can do this. I think I can call this home." And so let's just go ahead and proceed with the immigration side of things. Nice. So I got real lucky. I started playing. I played in an American football league here, and one of my teammates actually was an immigration lawyer.
American football? You mean like?
Yeah, like contact. Yeah, like contact, full pads, all the time. That's
nice.
Really big league over here. So that's something that really helped me. Like, kind of helped convince me.
And
to stay here.
you were already like legally.
Yeah, I mean, no, I didn't have residency or nothing like that yet here. But yeah, being able to play football and meet friends through there too.
It was a piece of homeland.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's definitely one thing that helped convince me that I could stay here. And like I said, I got lucky that one of my teammates was an immigration lawyer, and he helped guide us through the whole process of getting our residency, which was, I mean, surprisingly easy and fast in my opinion. We came in on the Friendly Nations agreement, I think it was.
Yes.
Obviously, since we're English, we're on an English passport, so we got into that. So I mean, like I said, the process for us was extremely
easy,
straightforward. It was
smooth,
nothing too complicated. It didn't ask you for too much.
You just went to the places. Yep. You just paid the money, and that's it.
And I mean, it was relatively quick. I mean, I got permanent residency too. I don't have.
Right now, you have your cedula.
I got cedula. I got a cedula A.
Yes.
My E cedula. Yeah. So I got my cedula, permanent residency. Like I said, if I remember correctly, obviously this was a long time ago, like 10 years ago. It was only like after we submitted all the paperwork and got all the stuff that they were asking us for. It was a matter of months where we had our permanent residency. Yeah. So that kind of, I mean, that obviously freed me up, because then I was able to know that, all right, I'm here now. I can start focusing on my future here and work forward.
And it's something different. You have like stability compared to the U.S. That I think that's why your dad wanted to move, because he and you felt impressed on how fast things were.
Exactly.
So you were a permanent resident right away, and you felt like we hugged you and we welcomed you, and it's like, of course, it's your home.
Yeah.
I love that you had those experiences. I want to know, when you first came, what were some of the like impacts you had?
Like the culture shock.
Yes, the culture shock.
Because that's exactly what it was. It was an absolute culture shock. I think for me, one of the first things that we did on the way home from the airport is we stopped at Taco Bell, and I seen Taco Bell have French fries. I was like, the Taco Bell doesn't sell French fries.
Taco Bell doesn't have French fries in the
States? They might now, but back then they did not. They didn't have French fries.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's obviously a little bit not part of the culture shock, but it was just one of the funny things I remember when we got here. But like I said, for me, I mean, obviously growing up in the U.S. is a developed country. Yes, there's poverty over there. Yeah. But coming here and seeing like a third world or developing country, and to see it kind of, I didn't realize I had a sense of entitlement until I moved here.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And because back then, I mean, like food and water, electricity and internet, I mean, everyone has it, everyone's doing it, and if they don't have it, they're upset because the Wi-Fi's not working, nothing like that. Whereas like, that's why I love this country so much, is because I've seen people who have absolutely nothing. They could be sleeping underneath a bridge, something like that, but they walk around, they always have a smile on their face, and they are the happiest people in the world.
And if they had, I've seen that if they have like food or something they can share, and another person wants it, they'll give it away.
Yeah, for sure. And
they'll be happy about it. So it's, I understand how shocked you feel. It's like going from, I don't know, Egypt to Alaska.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
It definitely, to like black and white, two totally different places to be and places to live, and like two totally different cultures. And I think that is why I do love being here in Panama, because you can feel the culture. The culture is everywhere, and the people. If you embrace the culture, because I've had plenty of people who are thinking about moving over here or have just moved over here that I've connected with, and they always say, "Oh, what piece of advice do you have for me?" And I was like, "Look, embrace the culture. Don't try and bring your whether it's a European lifestyle, American lifestyle, or your mentality. Don't try and bring it over here. Come over here with an open mind." Absorb the culture, absorb the people and what they have to offer, and the country what it has to offer. Don't try and force what you want
Yeah.
on something that's just not here, because that's not it.
The craziest thing for me is when I see people like that and they come here, they get used to the way of things going over here, and they feel happier.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They feel more relaxed and happier, and they look back and they say, I was so stressed.
Yeah.
I don't like that hustle and bustle thing. It's too much for me. Hustle life? No.
Yeah.
So, this is more, even though we have our rules and our things, this is more of a chill country.
Sure.
Everything is like, okay, there's time tomorrow, we can do it. Or if you need help, I know somebody.
Yeah.
And we are warm and welcoming to everybody.
For sure.
After that, you came here, you had your culture shocked and everything. How did you, like, involved around? You didn't know any Spanish. How did you learn? I want to know more about that. Your day to day.
Yeah, I think because my mom to this day, like, we've been here for almost 14 years. My mom to this day, she might speak 10 Spanish words.
What?
And my dad, like, before he passed away last year, I mean, he probably had 3 Spanish words, and 2 of those were gracias y por favor. And so for me, learning the Spanish was kind of like, I think what also made me feel much more comfortable here. I mean, I grew up in Central Florida. This high school I went to, I was around a lot of Latinos, so I was always around the language of my babysitter when I was younger, because my mom and dad used to own a gas station when we lived in the States, so they would work crazy hours, 18-hour days and stuff like that. So I had a babysitter, and she was Puerto Rican. So I was always around that type of culture, the language. I was hearing people speak it. I mean, I could understand it. I could speak a little bit, but fluent or conversational, not at all. I took Spanish in high school, but as soon as you get the grade, it kind of goes in one ear, out the other. I got the grade, passed the test. That's all I needed. Forget it. So when I moved over here, I at least knew how to pronounce and read Spanish. So when I first moved here, I didn't have much to do. Yeah. So I didn't have much to do. I didn't have friends or anything like that. So I would literally stay at home. I would watch TV. The audio would be in English and the subtitles would be in Spanish. And I would just read. I'd watch the same thing over and over. I would just read the subtitles. And like I said, since I know how to pronounce the words and read the words, I just made that connection, and little by little started building my vocabulary. Then I started playing football. And then I started like trying to build the business or work. So I was around the language. I never took a course. I never took any courses. I didn't take any tutors to help me teach Spanish. But where I noticed, like, I took my Spanish to the next level, I guess, is just I just lost the fear of most of the time when people learn a language, like, they're scared to sound, I don't know, I had to use the word dumb, but they're scared to mispronounce something or not speak correctly. And once I lost that fear, that's when I just started to learn Spanish so much more, because I mean, it's pretty evident that I'm not Panamanian. So if someone sees me struggling with Spanish, they're probably going to say, oh, this is not his first language. I'll try and understand him or help him, whatever. And that's kind of like where I really did, like I said, take my Spanish to the next level, was just losing the fear of sounding like I don't know Spanish, because obviously I didn't.
Believe me, when people hear somebody like you speaking another language that is not English, they're like, oh my God,
exactly,
these guys know Spanish. At least if you say hola. It's a lot. And we feel like so proud of you and proud of people. If you want to learn Spanish, go ahead.
Yes, please.
And we are like, oh my God, yes, you're doing it. And we help you. Sometimes they get genders of the words wrong. So we help you a little bit. But for us, it's so important when you just go with the flow. You want to get your point across, and you just say some words wrong, but it's fine. You know, we understand and we feel more connected.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And that's kind of like what I say, like when I mean like embrace the culture too. Like the language is part of the culture. Like you are moving to a foreign country. Like I kind of in a way seem like it's a little bit, I don't say disrespectful, sounds like a pretty harsh word, but like a little bit, I'm saying, like disrespectful to move to another country and not even at least try. I mean, trying is the hard part, because I have seen people who literally just don't try, and I feel like, hey,
they
put a little bit of effort in. Put a little bit of effort in.
I want to know, after you decided to move here and everything, what did you do? How did you start your business? You were already a contractor, so that was something you managed very well.
So
how was starting a business here in Panama?
Like I said, at first, I really was just independent. I would get contracted out by a lot of like environmental sustainable architectural companies to go do carpentry work. Because I said carpentry is my specialty out here in Panama. The style of construction they use really doesn't have too much carpentry involved in it. So for me, that's kind of like when I came over here, I was kind of like, because my dad was my mentor. So everything I know, I learned through my dad. My dad was the same as me. Like he knew a little bit about concrete and stuff like that and block work, but I mean, carpentry was his strong point, and construction in over there, like I said, it's just done different. There's a lot much more wood framing and things like that. So when I came over here, I kind of realized like, all right, I got to try and figure out what I want to do with my life here. So like I said, the first years I was traveling back and forth between Florida, or I was getting contracted out by architectural companies here. Did some work out in Vanal, did some like wooden cabins out there. And then like I said, I'd go back to Florida. I'd work a couple months, save up my money, come back. And then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, that's when I was quarantined.
That was 2019,
yeah,
2020.
Just right, beginning of 2020. So by the time I had 9 years here.
Mm-hmm.
So those 9 years again was just me being independent, just bouncing from one thing to another, doing jobs. I do full home renovations in the States, so I go back 4 or 5 months at a time, work over there, and then come back. And then once COVID hit, obviously lockdown hit. The quarantine here was extremely strict. All those rules were really strict. So I was basically stuck at home, had nothing to do, and I was kind of like, all right, so what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
I can't do, I'm saying, renovations here, and there's no construction going on at the moment. What can I do? And I've always had the company Grand Central, and that was what we used. My dad set that up when we first got over here to kind of just have something to protect assets and stuff like that. Yeah. And then, but I never really tried to make a business around it. It was just our association. And then COVID is what kind of made me kind of start thinking, all right, so I got to make something for myself here. So that's when I bought like a small CNC machine, and I would start doing like little things on the CNC machine, do some furniture, because I'd been doing furniture here in Panama as well for quite some time, because I'd say about like around 2015 is when I was like, all right, I need more work to do here in Panama. I really didn't want to do going back to the States and coming back. So I made up a design for a table, and it was a table, had like a little compartment in the middle where you could open it up, and then like a cooler hidden inside there. You could put beers and stuff. Nice. And I was like, I'm gonna sell these on the internet. And at that point, like, there was no Instagram. I think Facebook was the only thing really. And so I Google translated basically like an advertisement and for these tables, and I went on Facebook and I just typed in bar. And every single bar that popped up in the search thing here in Panama, I just copy and pasted and I sent it to every single one of them. Yeah. Every single one. And then that's when I got one of my first replies was from La Rana Dorada. Whoa. Which is so they were my first ever, I would say, customer here in Panama.
And that was a good customer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a very good customer, and I created a relationship with them over the years. I've done a lot of work for them over the years as well, and that's kind of where kind of Grand Central started to build itself. And turned itself into a company, and then that's like what I said, when 2020 came, a lockdown, then I bought a small CNC machine, a laser, and we do, like cutting boards, like customized cutting boards and stuff like that, and that did really well. Helped grow the page and start getting a little bit more attention, and people would start asking for more things, whether it's tables and chairs and stuff like that. And then COVID came and went. Things started to open up again, but unfortunately, like around that time was when my dad started to get sick. Yeah. So we ended up having to go back to the UK for 8 months. And since it's only me, my mom, my dad here, my dad needed full-time care. My dad's illness was severe, and my mom also, she's also a bit older, so she needed help. So a lot of my life was kind of revolved around taking care of my dad for the longest time, and I had to kind of take over his role in the company while he was ill, because he couldn't overlook everything. So I was kind of balancing taking care of him, helping my dad handle the company and stuff like that. And then went to England. We were in England for 8 months. My dad was hospitalized for 8 months in England, and then they got his health under control. We came back to Panama, and that's when I was like, you know what? Now is a time where I need to really start building something for myself here in this country, because I've made the decision, like, this is where I want to be for the rest of my life. So now is the time to start building something. So that's when I really started to focus on Grand Central and figure out what I was going to do. So an opportunity came up. Actually was with La Rana for their new location in Costa del Este. and they offered me the contract to do all the carpentry work in there. And I felt like, like if I'm gonna try and open up my own workshop or my own company and create my own team, now is the time to do it, because I know I have this contract secured, so I know I have a certain amount of income to be able to fund a workshop and workers and stuff like that. So that's when I really leaned into trying to build what Grand Central Concepts is today.
Okay.
And I feel like we've come a long way since then. I'm
surprised, actually.
Yeah.
La Rana is a very common place, and everybody knows it. It's very popular. So now if I ever go there, I'll be like, oh my God, James did this.
I mean, we did all the stuff in Costa del Este. Some of the other bars were already built before then, but I've done a lot of work for them over the years and created a really good relationship with them. I was really lucky to do that. That's something that, again, helped put my work in front of a lot of other people, which obviously, as everyone knows, it's like marketing. A lot of stuff out here, not very many people go on Google and type in carpenter, and then, oh, look, there's James. Let me talk to him.
Everybody knows you because somebody else told them.
Word of mouth or social media. So I kind of I've leaned into social media a lot lately and started creating much more content, and that's kind of what really has taken my business to the next level. I mean, I started working off the patio of my house with a couple saws and just myself. My dad would help me when he was bored. So I mean, basically a patio smaller than the studio, to then I had a 65 square meter workshop in Kurundu. Then now today we have a 200 square meter workshop. So I mean, and that's all happened in the span of 3 years. And even now I'm starting to look, all right, I need a bigger workshop. So now where can we go next? I don't want to do a move yet. Speaking about a move right now gives me a headache. I hate moving, too much stuff to move.
But that's another chapter.
Yeah,
I want to know, you mentioned about your father's health.
Yeah.
Did he ever got the chance to be attended in Panama?
Yeah, I mean, I have, unfortunately, I have a lot of experience with basically almost every hospital there is in the city. So that's another thing that I like to help people out with a lot, because, I mean, like I said, unfortunately, I had to go through those things with my dad. Yeah. But it also helped me show me where I can get, where the best treatment is, where all the doctors are if I ever did need them in the future. And I've helped a lot of people because I mean, at the end of the day, it's the same thing. You don't know how good a doctor is until you've dealt with them. Yeah. So sometimes it's good to get that advice from somebody else who's already dealt with them, to know if it's worth your while going and be attended by them or not. Because I mean, in all over the world, there's good doctors and there's bad doctors. But I could say the treatment and the attention that we got in this country it's top notch, and it's there's certain areas where they lack resources, obviously. Of course, yeah. But as far as the fact that, because when I went to England, that's kind of when I seen how the national health system works there. And my dad was in hospital for 8 months, and I must have seen his actual doctor, especially because it was still COVID time when he was there. So my access to him wasn't it was open access. But I never had a personal email of a doctor. I never had a personal phone number of a doctor. Yeah. And there was times where, I mean, something was happening with my dad, and I felt like I needed an answer right there and then to be able to figure out what was really going on, because my dad was really sick. Yeah. And to be able to not be able to have contact to someone who could at least help ease my mind about the situation or help me, guide me in the situation, was rough. Yeah. Because I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't know if my dad's not feeling pains here or there. I don't know if it's normal or if it's not normal. So I'm going to panic and stress about it, and my dad's going to panic and stress about it. So I feel like they kind of treated you more as a number on a list, if you know what I mean. Whereas here, I feel like the connection with the doctors is much more personal. So you can kind of create relationship with the doctors and feel much more comfortable. Yeah. And again, when my dad was sick here and ill here, if he was in the hospital at night and again, he had some weird pain that we didn't know what was going on, I could pick up the phone and call the doctor and his personal number, and he would answer the phone. He would tell me either, I'm on my way, I'll be there in 15 minutes, or don't worry, that's normal, let me speak to the nurse, they'll do this for them to make them more comfortable, this, that, and the other. So that's something that really would make me feel much more comfortable with the process, because I felt like I had access to the help that I needed. Mm-hmm. And whether it was on a medical level or on a mental or emotional level, or what do you want to call it. Because, like I said, I knew if I needed an answer, I knew where to go to get it. And I wasn't going to be like, I'll let you know. We'll let you know when the doctor's here, or we'll try and get a hold of the doctor or something like that. Because those were a lot of the answers that I would get when we were back in England. So let me try and get a hold of the doctor. All right, but what if you can't get a hold of the doctor and my dad's pain gets worse and worse and worse, and then something happens? Like, so for me, that's a big deal for me out here, is being able to be able to have those personal relationships with doctors and have that
they give
access.
you peace of mind.
Yeah, and like I said, to be able to have access directly to the doctor, not their secretary or some nurse or something like that, gives it a little bit sense of comfort.
And they'll come to your house.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I want to know also how we talked about your family. We talked about you moving. We talked about Panama and the good things, the bad things. I want to know what is waiting for you. What are you going to do? What is up for the future with Grand Central and all of those things? What are your plans?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm starting to so I've only been really trying to build this business for 3 years. So I would still say I'm in the infant stage of that, still trying to figure things out. I got a rough idea. I mean, I know what works for me and I know what we're good at. But being a carpenter or a contractor or furniture maker, cabinet maker out here, what do you want to call it? It's a difficult industry.
Yeah.
The market out here is a lot different than it is back in the States.
Small.
Yeah, it's very small. So you definitely have to be good at what you do, and you have to really work hard to create a name for yourself and build a business in that type of industry. So I've been, over the past year, ever since my dad passed away, I've kind of looked at time totally different. And valued my time much more. So as far as what I plan on doing for the future, for my future here in Panama, I am going to lean a little bit more into real estate development, because that's kind of what my background really is, from my family, from what I grew up seeing. That's how my dad did my entire life. I was always on the construction side of my dad, building houses. So it's kind of my comfort zone. So I mean, I started off doing what I'm doing because, with the furniture and things like that, and contracting work, because
you wanted to explore.
Yeah, exactly. Explore and try and get myself comfortable here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm comfortable now. So, and a lot of the time, I mean, this real estate development has always been a thought in my mind, but it's always been something keeping me back, and I've been scared to do it because, I mean, obviously it's a much bigger risk area. I mean, there's a lot much more money involved now. There's much more.
But there's a saying in Spanish, quien no arriesga no gana.
That's exactly.
If you don't take the risk, you're not going to win. That's what it means.
Exactly.
So I love that you are taking risk. You are moving forward. Your dad brought you here, and now you're making roots for yourself.
Yep.
I want to know, with all the experience that you had, if you had to give an advice for someone who wants to come to Panama, what would you say?
It's like I said earlier. I mean, obviously you're gonna want to do your research and make sure this is the right country for you. Because and you gotta be open-minded. Come here open-minded, ready to embrace the culture, and just have patience. Because you're not gonna know within the first 6 months if you really can be here for the rest of your life. It's gonna take its time. Come over little by little. Say, don't stay.
Vacation.
Yeah, but don't stay in a hotel too. Try and stay in different locations.
Airbnb or something.
Airbnb is more of a local
when you
location.
Get the real experience.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean that's I think why I love this country so much is because I do embrace the culture and I accept the culture.
Yeah.
I don't try and say, no, you shouldn't do this like this. Here it should be like this, because that's how I learned it. Whether it's in Europe or England or America or whatever. Just come out here, accept the culture, be open-minded, be patient, and just
go with the flow.
Yeah, just go with the flow. I mean, don't try and come over here and put your schedule on somebody else. Just be prepared. You're gonna be frustrated. You're probably gonna want to leave. You're probably gonna. There's multiple times when I first got here, I would cry. Literally, just cry of frustration.
Yeah, but that is part of growth.
Exactly. Just come out open-minded, patient, embrace the culture. And just explore, and you're gonna. I can almost guarantee, if you're looking to get out of the rat race, Panama is a country for you, because mañana, tranquilo, mañana. Don't worry about it. Tomorrow we'll worry about it. Right now,
you learn to love the tomorrow.
Yeah, to be present, be happy that you are where you are. Just be grateful, and then enjoy the journey, and don't make any commitments until you feel it in your heart that it's right, that it's the right place for you.
If you had the chance to do something different, what would it be? Like
as far
something
as being here,
from the past. No,
or from the past
Yeah.
in total.
From Panama moving here, your business, with your family, everything.
Well, that's a good question, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably jump back to something related to my father. Me and my dad definitely I think it's natural as far as me turning into an actual man and my dad realizing like whether I was converting into the man of the house or whatever. Our relationship towards them was a little bit rocky, but it was just because we were too stubborn to understand each other. So I think for me, if I could go back and do something different, it would probably be creating a much better level of communication with my father to be able to really absorb all of his knowledge. I think
the greatest gift he gave you was bringing you here.
Yeah, for sure. Because I could say I was not the most well-behaved person when I was in the States, I could say. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I just wasn't the most well-behaved person. I think a lot of it had to do with losing my brother as well. After I lost my brother, I went through a lot of, I didn't care.
Yeah.
There was certain points in my life where I didn't care what happened to me.
Panama gave you a reality check.
Exactly. I think it took me away from that and kind of helped me find myself. Like, who am I? Instead of me trying to fit into a group of people.
That's deep.
Yeah. I mean, because especially over there in high school and stuff like that, in college, you're always trying to fit in somewhere or trying to be, I don't know, the cool kid or whatever. And I feel like for a little while I had lost myself trying to fit in instead of just trying to just be myself and finding where I fit in. So I feel like here it's given me a much better, much clearer image of who I am and who I want to be. And
now you're grounded.
Exactly. Yeah. I've removed myself from all those external factors and I'm kind of just focusing on myself.
I love that Panama has given you a broader picture of everything.
For sure.
You know, of family, of business, of yourself. Yeah. And this is a good country to do that. It gives you time. It gives you the space. You don't have to be rushing. So it's a great place for somebody to find themselves, to relax, not just for vacation, but for life itself. Yeah. You know? I've loved and we've loved having you here. This has been a great interview, and we hope to see what's coming up next for your company and for you. If you want to say your handles and your socials so people can find you.
Of course. Grand Central PTY on Instagram. We got grandcentralpty.com as well. Follow us. I mean, I'm always putting up silly content. I'm always just trying to put stuff out there, show our work, and educate people on what we do. So if you're interested in that type of stuff, give us a follow.
Excellent. We have loved to have you here. Again, if you want to share your story, you can check our DMs in our socials, or you can sign up in our website. So this has been the interview for today. We hope to see you next time. Goodbye.